Hello there, this is the Aptitude guy. Carrying on with our series of lesson videos, here we have percentages, a very important topic from quantitative aptitude. The last video that we had watched was coding and decoding from logical reasoning. This is the first video from quants. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now when it comes to percentage, what does the word mean? Per cent, that is per century, per 100. Basically, if I say 1 by 2 is equal to what? This means one object per two objects. That means 50 objects per 100 objects. 50 per 100, 50 per century, 50 per cent. That is all that it means. This is a question that you will be never asked in any interview or any aptitude test. But it's a nice thing to know what we are studying, right? Now, let me ask you some very basic questions. Suppose your weight was 50 kg at the beginning of lockdown. And during the lockdown, what happened was you became a couch potato, you did not move much. So within 1 year, your weight became 60 kg. Now the question is, what is the percentage change in your weight? Okay, you can pause the video and then calculate and let me know the answer. Let's calculate it. So the first thing that everybody does is we find the difference between the two, that is 10. And then everybody knows that we have to divide it by something, and then everybody knows that we have to multiply it by 100. Everybody is sure about these two parts, but this is where people make silly mistakes. Some people might say this should be divided by 50, some might say it should be divided by 60, some might say it should be divided by 55, that is the average of these two. So this should be divided by 50. So the answer is 20% change. Now let me twist the question a little bit. Suppose your weight in the beginning was of course 50 kg and you actually got COVID during lockdown and you lost a lot of weight and your weight after 1 year became 40 kg. So what is the percentage change in your weight now? In this case, everybody again knows that the change is 10 divided by something into 100. Now in the denominator, people start getting confused. People think that over here we divided by 50 because it's the smaller number. Here the smaller number is 40. So the denominator should be 40 and then they get the answer as 25%, which is wrong. This again will be divided by 50 and this again is equal to 20%. What's the difference between these two? This is positive change and this is negative change because this one is decreasing. Now if at all you said 20% for both of them, you're absolutely right. Congratulations. So what concept is happening over here? Over here, we will be learning the most important formula when it comes to percentages. The big daddy formula of percentages, that is change percentage. If you can understand the funda behind change percentage, trust me, you will be able to solve most of the questions based on percentages. So let's have a look. Change percentage is equal to, first of all, new value minus old value. That is what we did over here, 10 and 10. That is the new value minus old value divided by the old value into 100. Now here is the thing. If at all you said 20% for both of them, then you already knew this. You already knew that change percentage is divided by old value. Now why is that? Let us understand that. Why is the denominator old value? Why not the new value? Why not anything else? Because change percentage is always with respect to the old value. It is always with respect to the old value. Think about it. How do you know that your height has changed from the last 10 years? Right? Suppose this was your height 10 years ago and this is your height today. How do you know that your height has changed? Because you are comparing your present height with your older height. That is how you know that some change has happened. If you compare your present height to the present height itself, you're just wasting your time. What are you even comparing? You get to know that change has happened only when you compare with an older value. That is why the old value is in the denominator. Old value or initial value. Okay. So in percentages, if at all we understand the numerator and the denominator, then we are done with most of the silly mistakes. If you understand how to put the numerator and denominator in the formula, then 50% of the silly mistakes that you make will go right out of the window. Alright, so let's understand the numerator part. Always remember whatever percentage you are finding. For example, we are finding change percentage over here. That will be in the numerator. Alright, we have it right here. What is new value minus old value? New value minus old value is nothing but change itself. Yes, new value minus old value is change. So we are finding change percentage, change is in the numerator. And what should be in the denominator? Whatever this thing is with respect to. And we just established that change percentage is with respect to the old value. So the denominator is the old value. And of course, everybody's favorite part, into 100. So let's recap once. Whatever percentage we are finding, that value should be in the numerator. And whatever it is with respect to, that should be in the denominator, into 100. Okay. So if at all we have to find what percentage is this height with respect to this height, then the numerator will be this height, and with respect to the older height, so that will be in the denominator, and of course into 100. That's it. This is the most important formula in percentages. We will do everything based on this formula. Alright, let's start with the questions. This is question number 1. Pause the video, try to solve it, and then come back. We'll solve it together. Let's do it. So the question says the population of a town named Mirzapur is 8,000. It decreases annually at the rate of 20% per annum. Okay. What will be its population after 2 years? Alright, let's do this. So we have 8,000 people. There are 2 ways to solve this question. We'll do it using both the methods. Now it decreases annually at the rate of 20%. So first, it decreases by 20%. What is 20% of 8,000? The simplest way of finding this out without the calculator is this. 10% of 8,000 is 800. So 20% will be double of 800, that is 1,600. So this is 1,600. That is why 1,600 is there in the options. Don't get lazy, that is not the final answer. So 8,000 minus 1,600 is 6,400. After that, this decreases by 20%. Now 20% of 6,400, 10% of 6,400 is 640, double of that is 1,280. Now the final answer is 6,400 minus 1,280, that is 5,120. That is the answer, option D. Now let me address a few mistakes that you guys might make. The first kind of mistake that a lot of people make is they get option B, 4,800 as the answer. Because what they did was 20% of 8,000 is 1,600, and then this is happening for 2 years. So what they do is 1,600 into 2, that is 3,200, and you are simply doing 8,000 minus 3,200, that is 4,800. But that is a mistake, because first, in the first year, it becomes 6,400. After that, this population reduces by 20%. Alright, the population doesn't stay 8,000. This reduces by 20%. That is why 4,800 is the wrong answer. Alright, and 5,120 is the correct answer. Now this is one way of solving this question. There is another way also. Let me just tell you that. So we have 8,000. Now it decreases annually at the rate of 20%. Now if something reduces by 20%, it becomes how much percent? Suppose we go for shopping and there is a discount of 20% on the product. Then how much percent of the price are we paying? We are paying 80% of the price. So 8,000 reduces by 20%. That means it becomes 80%. Now this happens again. This is after first year. But after that, this again reduces by 20%. So this whole thing reduces by 20%. That means it again becomes 80%. And that's it. All we have to do is solve this part. Very simple. We cancel out the zeros and we cancel out these zeros. So what do we have here? 8 into 8 into 8, that is 512, and then there is a 0. Same answer, 5120, 5120. That's it. Alright, so moral of the story is the population changes and then this becomes the new population and then it changes again. That is the answer. Any doubts in this solution, please mention in the comment box. I will definitely answer it. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2, of course, pause the video, solve it, and then come back. Let's solve it. The population of a town named Winterfell increases 10% and 20% respectively in 2 consecutive years. The present population of the town is 13200. Then what is the population of the year 2 years ago? What was the population? Alright. Now, if at all you got option A as the answer, then this is what you might have done. So suppose the population started with X years. Alright. Now this first increases by 10% as mentioned in the question, of course. So suppose this became Y. And then this increases by 20%, like mentioned in the question again, and this becomes 13200. So this is mentioned in the question. Now you have to go back to X. So a lot of people, what they do according to their common sense, which is wrong, is they try to go back like this numerically. This increased by 20%, so you're thinking this should decrease by 20% and you thought you got Y. And then you decrease this by 10% and you thought you got X, you will get 9504 if you did this. If at all you did this, this method is absolutely wrong. Now why is this wrong? Let me explain that to you first and then I'll tell you the correct solution. Because you should get convinced that this is wrong. Because according to your common sense, this makes complete sense. But it does not. Let me take you there. Suppose we have 100. Now, if this increases by 50%, how much do we get? Of course, 150. Now, according to this logic of yours, if I reduce 150 by 50%, the same percentage over here, then I should get back 100, right? Of course, wrong. We don't. If you reduce 150 by 50%, you get 75, which is of course not equal to 100. Now, why is this happening? 50% and 50% is not the same. In percentages, the reference also matters. For example, this 50% is 50% of 100 and this 50% is 50% of 150. Both the 50 percentages are different. Alright. For example, if you and your friend, both of you start going to the gym tonight. And then after 1 month, suppose both of you lost 10% of your weights. Does that mean both of you lost the same amount of weight? No, it depends on what your initial weight was. Alright, so if at all you got option A as the answer, then make sure in your notes you write this down and then draw a box around it and then draw another box around it and then draw another box around it, because this mistake should never ever repeat. Percentages are not reversible. Remember that. Now, how do we solve this question? Again, there are 2 ways to solve this question. One is using 100 and one is using X. First, I'll do it using 100. So first what we do is we assume that the population is 100 initially. Now this first increases by 10%. It becomes 110. Now this increases by 20%. 20% of 110, 10% of 110 is 11, so 20% is 22. This plus this, 132. Okay, so this is the old value. Okay, this is the old value, and this of course is the new value. Now it's a very simple thing. We have the new value over here and we have the old value over here. All of us have solved math questions like this when we were in school. When the new value is 132, the old value was 100. Now according to the question, the new value is 13200. So the old value will be how much? If 132 chocolates cost 100 rupees, then 13200 chocolates will cost how much? Two zeros get added here, so two zeros will get added here also. Answer is 10,000. Now some of you might be wondering, if the numbers were not this pretty, if they were not matching so nicely, what would we do that time? You already know what we need to do that time. We have to take this thing as x and of course cross multiply and get the answer. But here, since the numbers are so nice, we can simply add two zeros and be done with it. Answer is 10,000. There is another slightly smaller method to solve this question also. Let me do that. So you remember in the previous question how we did this method? We'll use the same thing over here as well. Alright, so here we assume that the old population is x. Now what happens to x? It first increases by 10%. Always remember, when something increases by 10%, it becomes 110%. And then what happens? This increases by 20%. So if something increases by 20%, it becomes how much percent? 120%. Now this whole thing is equal to the final population, that is 13200. Now all you have to do is solve for x. Simple 6 standard mathematics, linear equation in one variable. Let's do it. X is equal to 13200 into 100 into 100 divided by 110 into 120. That's it. Now 110 into 120 is equal to 13200. So the whole thing gets cancelled. What are we left with? 100 into 100, that is of course 10,000. So either way you solve it, you get option C as the answer. You can use the 100 method or you can use the X method. Choice is yours, of course. Now one learning that I want to give you from question number 1 and question number 2 is this. Just because your answer is there in the options does not mean it's the correct answer. For example, over here, some of you or many of you would have gotten 9504 as the answer, and it's there in the options also. But is that the correct answer? No. Similarly, in question number 1, 4800 is a pretty commonly marked answer, but is it the right answer? No. Moral of the story, always remember, just because your answer is there in the options does not guarantee that it's the correct answer. It might just be the most popularly marked wrong answer as well. Alright, so be careful over there. And any doubts over here, please mention in the comment section. Let's move on. Question number 3, pause the video, solve it, and then come back. Alright, let's do it. A mixture of 20 liters of milk and water contains 20% water. Alright, so we have 20 liters mixture and it has 20% water. 20% of 20 is how much? 20% of 20 is of course 4 liters. So how much milk is remaining from here? 20 minus 4, that is equal to 16 liters. Alright. Now they have mentioned a new mixture is formed by adding 5 liters of water. Alright, so water was already 4 liters. Now 5 more liters is being added. So now water is 9 liters. And the total mixture becomes how much? 20 plus 5, that is 25 liters. Now the question is, what is the percentage of milk in the new mixture? Let me just write it down so that you understand how it should be solved. percentage of milk. In what? In the new mixture. Alright. Now, like we had already studied in change percentage, whatever percentage we are finding, that should be in the numerator. What percentage are we finding? We are finding the percentage of milk. So milk is in the numerator. Milk is 16 liters. With respect to what? With respect to the new mixture. How much is the new mixture? New mixture is 25. The whole thing is 25. So divided by 25 into 100. So 25 into 4 is 100, of course. 16 into 4, answer is 64%. Answer is option C. Now here the most commonly marked wrong answer is 36%, because a lot of people, what they do is, instead of finding the percentage of milk, they end up finding the percentage of water. Moral of the story, when you think you have the answer, read the question again. Before marking the final answer, please do yourself this small favor, spend 2 extra seconds and read the question again. If at all you read the question again, you'll see they have asked for the percentage of milk, and then you'll quickly correct yourself. Have this habit for every single question. And of course, if you have any doubts over here, mention in the comments. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. When a number is first increased by 10% and then reduced by 10%, the number becomes what? Pause the video, try to solve it, and then come back. Alright, let's do it. If at all your answer was option A, then you are absolutely wrong. Why? Because I have already mentioned this in the second question. Remember, we have 100, it increases by 50%, then decreases by 50%. Does it become 100 again? No. So, in fourth question also, if it increases by 10% and then decreases by 10%, will it become 100 again? Absolutely not. So, we don't know the correct answer yet, but we definitely know that it changes. So, option A is definitely wrong. Now, how do we actually solve it? Let's take everybody's favorite number, 100, and then we apply everything to 100. It first increases by 10%, so plus 10%. 10% of 100 is of course 10, so it becomes 110. And then it reduces by 10%. So this reduces by 10%. 10% of 110 is 11. So 110 minus 11 is 99. So obviously some change has happened. How much is the change? From 100 we come to 99. So it reduces by 1%. So the answer is option B. Now let me ask you a what if question over here. What if the order was interchanged? First it reduced by 10% and then it increased by 10%. What will be the answer that time? Will it be the same answer? Will it increase by 1%? Pause the video and try it out and then come back. So first it reduces by 10% and then it increases by 10%. Let's do it. We have 100 of course. It first reduces by 10%, it becomes 110. Then, it reduces by 10%, it becomes 90. And then this increases by 10%. 10% of 90 is 9, so it becomes 99. Same thing. It again reduces by 1%. So it increases and then decreases, or decreases and then increases. The answer does not change. The answer stays the same, that it decreases by 1%. Okay. Similarly, you can try it out with different percentages. Increases by 10% and then decreases by 20%, and then reverse the order and see if the numbers stay the same. Alright. Any doubts over here? Definitely drop the comments. Let's move on. Question number 5, an election question, a very, very important question. Pause the video, try to solve it, take as much time as you need, and then come back. Alright, let's solve the question. In an election between two candidates, 20% of votes were declared invalid. First candidate got 70% of the valid votes and a lead of 1600 votes. The total number of votes was how much? That is the question. All right, let's do it. Let's start with everybody's best friend, that is 100. We'll assume that the total number of votes is 100. Now, everything that is happening over here will happen to 100. Okay. First of all, 20% votes were declared invalid. So, out of 100, 20% votes are gone because they are invalid votes. So, how many valid votes are remaining? We have 80 valid votes remaining. All right. Now, everything else happens to 80. The first candidate got 70% of the valid votes. So, out of 80 valid votes, the winner, of course, the winner, because if you get 70%, obviously you're the winner, right? The winner got 70%. That is 70% of 80, not 70% of 100, mind you. 70% of 80. 70% of 80 is 56. So the winner got 56 valid votes. So how many votes did the loser get? This is where a lot of people make silly mistakes. Many people think that out of 80, 70 gone, so 10 remaining. No, this is 70% of 80. Remaining is 30% of 80. The loser gets 30% of 80. Now, if at all this does not make sense to you, then we can think about it in another way. Out of 80 valid votes, 56 valid votes go to the winner. So, how many valid votes are remaining? 80 minus 56, that is 24. And what is 24? 24 is 30% of 80. 8 threes are 24. Done. So the winner gets 56 valid votes, loser gets 24 valid votes. Now what do we do with these numbers? Let's read the question again and see if they have given some solid information. Yes, they have given the lead is 1600 votes. That is our lead as well. Now, what do you mean by lead? In elections, lead means the winner has how many more votes than the loser, or the winner has how many extra votes than the loser. So, the simplified version of this is simply the difference between both the votes. So, let's find the lead in this case also. Let's do it. What is the lead in this case? 56 minus 24. 56 minus 24 is 32. That is the lead in this case. And now we can of course solve it using the unitary method. That is, we have the lead and we have the total. Let's do it. When the lead is 32, the total was how much? The total was of course 100. Now what happens? When the lead is 1600 according to the question. When the lead is 1600, the total is how much? Let's calculate it. Now we know what to do over here, of course. We have to cross multiply. Just like 6th standard. So we have 32t equals 100 into 1600. So t equals 100 into 1600 divided by 32. Now 32 into 50 is 1600. So the answer is 100 into 50, that is 5000 votes. So the answer is option A, that is 5000. Now if at all the question had asked what is the total number of valid votes, then what would we do? When the lead is 32, instead of 100 total votes, we take the number of valid votes, that is 80. So 32 lead to valid votes is 80. 1600 lead, valid votes will be how much? Then we again cross multiply and find it. The answer that time would be 4000. Alright, if at all you were wondering why 100 and not 80, now you have the answer because they have asked for the total number of votes, valid and invalid together. Okay, now of course there is another way of solving this. Let me just quickly tell you that as well. So again, we can solve it using x. How do we do that? In order to solve it using x, we need an equation. An equation is something equal to something else. That's all. So let's see what the LHS and RHS have. We have the lead that is equal to 1600 votes. And what is the lead? Lead is nothing but winning valid votes minus losing valid votes. That is equal to 1600 votes. Winning valid votes, losing valid votes. Now, what is the winning valid votes? The winner got 70% of the valid votes. Valid is 80% of the total number of votes. Let that be X. Minus the loser gets how many? 30% of the valid votes, that is 80% of X, and this whole thing is equal to 1600 votes. So let's do it. 80% of X and 80% of X, we can take it as common. So what are we left with? 70% minus 30%, that is 40% of 80% of X equals 1600 votes. Let's calculate it now. 40% is 40 by 100 into 80% is 80 by 100 into X equals 1600. So X is equal to 1600 into 100 into 100 divided by 40 into 80. Let's solve it. We have 0, 0, 0, 0 gone. 8 2s are 16, 2 2s are 4, 2 50s are 100. So the final answer is 50 into 100, that is 5000 again. So you can either solve it using the yellow method or the blue method. In my opinion, the yellow method is a little more simplified version and it will have less chances of you making silly mistakes. But of course, whatever floats your boat, you use that method. And as always, if you have any doubts over here, definitely drop the doubts in the comment section. And with that, we are done with the lesson part of this video. These are a few extra questions. Definitely screenshot them or try to solve them right now and drop your answers in the comment section. I'll let you know if you're right or wrong. All right. With that, we are done with this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If at all the video was helpful, then definitely drop a like. Not just to increase the like count, but if at all you like this video, then the video will be saved in your library of your YouTube app. So the next time you want to revise this, you don't have to search for the video. It will be there in your liked videos. All right. And we have the previous video and the next video right here. You can go and watch them. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.